The military is here, shawty. The military is here. They on the streets. The military is here. The military really here, shawty. Y'all thought life was a joke.
He's the kind of guy that would say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go someplace, huh, where I don't care.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is WD3, and this is your Hill Report news break. Well, today, believe it or not, on this Sunday, there's a lot going on under the surface of the news. I'm telling you, you have to really read between the lines in order to understand what is really going on. On the surface, you see America attack a vessel that they say was carrying cartel drugs off the coast of Venezuela, which has the Venezuelan president thinking regime change. That's very important. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. So you have a shift between India, China, Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and many other countries that are shifting from the dollar payments to the Chinese yuan backed by gold payments. The BRICS currency is trying to make a common BRICS currency, which is going to directly challenge the dollar because they already have 40% of the world's population on board, if not more. So this is pretty important. Well, if most wars are started over economic disagreements, then they turn into hot wars, right? So if America is anticipating its cities being attacked by possibly China, Russia, Venezuela, as they go and try to do a takeover of the Venezuelan oil, you have to protect your cities from possible attack, because if the BRICS are able to secure Venezuela and bust open the Monroe Doctrine, which says that Eastern Hemisphere countries cannot threaten Western Hemisphere countries without America getting into it. So the alliance between the Cubans and the Russians, Cubans and the Chinese and Venezuela, Russia, Venezuela, that all is mucky waters when you start talking Monroe Doctrine. But in response, American cities may be attacked. And if you already have the military in the cities disguised as stopping gang violence and all this, you already have the roads reconstructed to be able to carry the heavy tanks on the main road, so you're going to see cones and stuff everywhere. More cities are going to be taken over because we have to make a push towards Venezuela. If America doesn't capture that oil reserve in Venezuela, then America is at the behest of Saudi Arabia, who has been pressured recently to join the BRICS, right? So the petrodollar is up in the air as we speak. But anyway, let's check out some clips and we'll come back and talk about this on the other side.
After winning a war for independence in 1789, George Washington established the War Department, and Henry Knox was his first Secretary of War. And this country won every major war after that, to include World War I and World War II. Total victory, Mr. President, as you said. Then 150 years after that, we changed the name after World War II from the Department of War to the Department of Defense in 1947. And as you pointed out, Mr. President, we haven't won a major war since, and that's not to disparage our warfighters, whether it's the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or our generation of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's to recognize that this name change is not just about renaming, it's about restoring. Words matter. It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos, restoring victory and clarity as an end state, restoring intentionality to the use of force, So at your direction, Mr. President, the War Department is going to fight decisively, not endless conflicts. It's going to fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War Department, Mr. President, just like America, is back. Thank you for your leadership and your clarity. We're going to set the tone for this country. America first, peace through strength, brought to you by the War Department.
When a nation or a region is destined for collapse, mistakes start pouring in. And right now, Donald Trump is about to make that final mistake. The kind of mistake after which nobody on earth will be able to save America or the US dollar. The game has already begun. Let me explain what's happening. Trump saw that instead of splitting apart, Modi, Putin, and Xi Jinping have joined forces. They built an entire scenario together, funding Russia, empowering Russia. And despite US efforts, Trump failed in Ukraine. No minerals, no major gains, nothing. So now Trump has decided on his most dangerous move. I'll crash the entire world stock market. I'll ruin China. I'll bring down the system itself. Trump spoke to 26 European leaders through Macron. He told them, it's time to start a confrontation. Let's impose sanctions on China because they're buying oil from Russia. Europe, you ban them, we'll ban them. And together we'll squeeze China until it stops buying Russian oil and gas. Here's the problem though. Russia has already finalized the biggest gas supply deal in history with China. China is now buying more gas than Europe ever did. Europe's already shaken, but Trump pushed further. He even slammed India for buying Russian oil, refining it, and selling it onward. He said, stop that too, shut it down, and then hit China harder. But here's where the real danger starts. If the West sanctions China, China won't just sit back. They'll retaliate directly against the US dollar. China will push the petro-yuan. They'll say, from now on, if you want to sell oil, gas, or commodities to us, payments will only be in yuan, not dollars. If you refuse, fine, we'll buy directly from Russia. And Russia has endless supply. Sanctions stop most of the world from buying Russian oil, but China is ready to buy it all. Plus, many Middle Eastern countries depend on China and India for their economies. If China demands UN payments, they'll have no choice but to agree. Then India will step in. We're not paying in dollars either. Pay us in rupees or gold or any other currency, but not the dollar. This is where Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Russia, India, all could shift trade away from the dollar. And don't forget, China already built an alternative to SWIFT, their CIP's payment system. They'll tell the world, use this, free yourself from American restrictions. And then comes BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now more than 70 countries want in, like Saudi Arabia and Iran. A common BRICS currency is already being discussed. That means 40% of the world's population could start trading outside of the dollar system. China also holds one of the largest amounts of US Treasury bonds. If they start dumping them, and they've already begun, it will force America to raise interest rates just to attract buyers. That means America's borrowing costs will explode. And at the same time, China and India are buying gold, strengthening the gold-backed yuan as an alternative to the fragile dollar. Inas, now imagine this. China tells Apple, pay us in yuan. Apple says no. China replies, fine, go build your iPhone somewhere else. And guess what? They can't. India doesn't have the capacity. No one else can replace China for at least 5 years. Apple will have no choice but to pay in yuan. This is the coffin being nailed shut for the US dollar. The last and most destructive step, China telling dozens of countries, ditch the dollar as your reserve currency. Overnight, global trade in dollars would collapse. And who triggered this chain reaction? Donald Trump himself. By trying to weaponize sanctions, he's setting up the dollar's downfall with his own hands. Trump may think he's hurting China, but in reality, he's planting the seeds of America's decline. The tariffs war is already a disaster for the US. They've been losing badly, and now the collapse could reach a level where America's own president might be forced to step aside. This is a storm building right now, and the world is about to see the US dollar face its most dangerous enemy yet, China's petro-yuan backed by gold, Russia, India, and the BRICS alliance. Buckle up, the endgame has begun. This is Truth Uncovered. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. This is WD3 in your Hill Report News Break. We are talking about the real reason why Donald Trump and the Department of War is attacking Venezuela, um, and why Washington, D.C., one city after another, Chicago, it's gonna LA already under the cover of ice. Um, all these big major cities are going to be occupied by armies in anticipation of a possible attack. If another country attacks America, they're not going to attack Muskogee, Oklahoma. They're going to go for Los Angeles, New York, right? Chicago, Washington, D.C. So these are the cities where the armies will be placed in anticipation. Now, this would probably not be necessary if it wasn't for a conglomerate of events that would make other countries feel threatened, such as the war in Ukraine, such as the push in the Middle East, such as Chinese connecting the world under Chinese world order. Recently, having one of the biggest conference they've ever had with their allies, which drew some of the biggest, most prestigious nations from around the world. Also, we have to make that push to Venezuela. That's it. The largest oil reserves sitting right there. You have Nicolas Maduro, a socialist who succeeded Hugo Chavez, I believe his name was. Both very close to the regime in Cuba, not very close to the regime in Washington D.C. This is all hinging on how quickly and how apparent America makes their push for Venezuelan oil. If it's quiet and done quickly, it'll be hard for Russia and China to convince the world that America did it. If it's done very sloppily and slow and you let the allies build up around Venezuela, then you might as well forget the plan and use your own oil reserves here in the United States. But we lose Venezuela, we're pretty much isolated with just Europe. Europe's going to make a business decision and go with the other countries, which would leave America um, isolated. So that's the real reason that we're attacking Venezuela and placing the Department of War military in our major cities. It's WD3, a Hill Report News Break. Think about it. You have anything else you think about on this subject, put it in the comments. There's a lot of stuff I probably don't know that I probably forgot. Um, this is a discussion, so you guys fill in the blanks. It's WD3, Hill Report News Break, and we're out.